darkness when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding. Only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions of the world that we defy. A solar ray of the few who rise up high. And we all fight at the last light.
All right, we are back for game number 2 in this best of 3 McMaster University, looking to make this only a 2-game series, while Carnegie Mellon, they have to work really hard from that first game to make it a 3-game series. My name is Joshua Fekes Quest. I am here with Octavian.
They've got the tools to work with.
They do.
Carnegie Mellon had a really good early game. Like, we can't deny that going into that match. So if they can pull some of those same tricks and get the wool over McMaster's eyes once again, they'll have a place of strength to begin from. If we see a similar early game, they just then have to execute on that strength. It doesn't matter how large your sword is if you never hit your opponent with it.
Yeah. That's definitely
I've been playing Dark Souls recently.
Okay, cool. No, that's totally valid. I love that game. So Trundle and Echo banned out, and no, that's a great analogy because yeah, they had the tools, but they did not buy a big enough sword with those tools. Or I guess they had enough gold from the early game. They didn't buy a big enough sword to swing and hit McMaster with. So Trundle and Echo banned out. Still in the banning phase. McMaster, they're sticking with what they are comfortable with. Lysandra actually banned out away from Duosec. So I don't know if we will be seeing a Fizz ban. Rise banned out. If they could ban out Soraka, they could ban out Janna as well if they want to stick with the last bans that they had. But they're going to be giving away something here. Maokai, the last ban coming out from McMaster.
And again, that's 3 top lane bans. We didn't touch on this last pick and ban because there were some other interesting things happening, but that's 3 top lane bans from McMaster. And maybe that's part of why Han Solo had such a good time of it in top lane, because it's really easy to, well, not really easy, but a lot easier to win your lane when your opponent is banned out of their top 3 champs and your team is absolutely targeting your lane opponent, as they're doing to Mega Zero right here, who's lost, I'm assuming, what are his best champs heroes. I don't see why they would be focusing so heavily.
Yeah, Mega Zero, he's a very versatile player in the top lane. I mean, a lot of people know him as Best Riven in A. He used to be an LCS player in the top lane. He can play quite a few champions in that top lane. Maokai, definitely you want to play Maokai, or actually you want to play Maokai, but not going to pick that one obviously because it is banned out. But Mega Zero, I think he'll be all right. I don't think he did absolutely horrible on the Nautilus. There was a lot more that was going on than that Nautilus in the last game. But we have a first pick locked in for Duosec with Lysandra banned out. I mean, they took away. They actually first picked Azir away last time by Carnegie Mellon, but this time they have to give it up and they give it over to Duosec.
Yeah, and it's puzzling. The Lysandra is really puzzling to me from Carnegie Mellon, because they have to know that Duosec wants to go in this Azir. That's why they first picked it last game, because
right.
They wanted to keep Duosec off of it. And so if they leave it up through bans, Duosec is going to have his team grab it for him. When, as we saw last game, Lysandra's a decent enough counter in lane and later on in the game to Azir. So they ban away a counter to a champ, which they can be pretty safe in assuming they're going to have to play against.
Yeah, it is an interesting one, and you have to think that maybe Carnegie Mellon, they may just be flustered. Of course, that was a huge engage from Duosec. He did fantastic on the Lysandra, and getting that off the table is not a bad thing. But yeah, they have to give up something in order to do that. I mean, they may be thinking that they can play against the Azir, maybe not pick it away, not ban it, and instead let them have it. We have a counter for it. I don't think, obviously, Jhin is going to be that counter. Coggles will be taking that away from Tall White Bro. Integral, please, this time going on to the Elise. But on the other side, Devise sticking with that Kindred, and we have Tall White Bro on Tristana. So a huge amount of tower push pressure coming out from McMaster.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to watch Tristana's build this game, as there has been a Relatively new Tristana build that's been doing the rounds in some competitive play. I think it started in CLG versus TL, that quarterfinal, though it didn't show up very big there. But it's still not necessarily a terrible build where you rush into Guinsoo's and then I believe a Runon's Hurricane. And you do
Yes.
massive amounts of damage. You basically become Kog'Maw with a jump. And to anyone who understands how Kog'Maw works, that is adequately terrifying.
It is terrifying, especially when you have an ability like explosive shot that you have to stack up, and you can also stack that up on turrets. It is relevant. I understand that definitely is something that is to be feared. And with that being said, Tristana with her long range crit is so valuable on her because she already has an auto attack empowerment. I'm not quite sold on this Guinsoo's Rageblade Tristana. But that's mostly because I've probably been burned by it way too many times in people in solo queue who think they know what they're doing. We'll get to that another time because Koggle's locked in the Poppy for Mega Zero. And I actually think I like that better than the Nautilus.
Speaking of Nautilus, there it is.
Yeah, speaking of, there you go.
Han Solo likely going to be back on another tank here. He performed very well in Fizz, but Nautilus is a bit of a different beast. Less damaging and more heavily focused into just being a disrupting CC bot in the backlines.
Right.
And then the opposite of a disrupting CC bot, John Mechanics taking the Soraka. I'm really, really excited to see what build he goes, because if the last game was any marker, he has some very strange build paths on these supports, but it worked out well for him then.
Yeah.
See what he does here. Mid lane Soraka has become, and it's not what we're going to see this game, but
I hope not.
My point will resolve, has become something of a pocket pick for a few top mid laners because they nerfed the base healing on her W, but they increased the scaling in addition to giving it more healing after you've landed a Q. So if we see John Mechanics build a similar build to last time and get that basically second mid lane build where he builds into a Archangel staff out of the support role, then he's going to be healing a very large amount of hit points with every W. Like, it is a really strong scaling, and not to mention the ulti, I believe, has a 1-to-1 scaling as well. So if we do see the AP support Soraka, it may work out decently well for him.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I like John Mechanics because of just how versatile he is. I've seen him go traditional builds, but yeah, I like the offensive builds. When he's ahead, he keeps himself ahead by building those sorts of builds. Like the Morellos and the pure AP and the Archangel staff. That was a great one too. But we'll see what happens in this game. And I see why Fizz was not banned out, because Poppy, a great counter to Fizz. You cannot dash in, can't dash out if you have Poppy, and you throw down the AoE circle, keeps dashes in and out. So that's actually a really good pickup by Carnegie Mellon. They knew that they could pick into the Fizz, knowing that Solo may be going back onto that Fizz. He did so well, so why not just outright counter it, ban somebody that you aren't going to counter like Lysandra. I like that pickup by Carnegie Mellon. I'm anxious to see what Quicks does on the LeBlanc, and we haven't talked about it yet, but we're gonna mention it real quick here. Mino Haxor's, he's actually on the Blitzcrank this time, which I think is more appropriate, because whenever they landed a Dark Binding earlier, in which he was kind of having trouble landing them, but when he did land them, there wasn't much to follow it up. This way, you can pull somebody towards you, your whole team is right there behind you, and you have a silence to keep anyone from jumping out or doing whatever they want, like a Lamb's Respite. And also, that's a good one too. Pull him out of the Lamb's Respite. A lot of versatility with this Blitzcrank on Mino Haxor's.
It's also just a really, really strong pick against Soraka. It's one of the best counter picks to Soraka, because if you could land the hook on John Mechanics, then she's going to blow up. Soraka, of course, not nearly as strong at saving herself as she is at saving her allies. And it's interesting that normally in Champ Select, you'll see solo lanes get counterpicked against one another, maybe 80 carries, because those are the lanes that are the most swingy. Oftentimes mid is the one that is saved until a counterpick from one team or the other. But because we saw Nazir picked up so early this game, and because there was so much emphasis put on grabbing Jhin as well, it was actually the support pick that was saved for a counterpick here, and that's just something you don't usually see.
Yeah, but it's relevant right now. Okay, Blitzcrank got some tricks up its little rusty arm. So we're going to see what those tricks are in about 1 minute 30 seconds. Want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, twitch.tv, Asus ROG, and Brain Gear. And of course, definitely want to give a special shout out to Asus ROG because they are funding the trip to DreamHack for the CSL and for the players competing in the CSL. And one of these teams will be going to face Robert Morris University in Austin, Texas on the first weekend of May. So go check them out on Twitter at Asus_ROG. And tell them thank you for sponsoring CSL and making this all possible. And of course, also, I do want to mention we are doing a contest for a Twitch internship. If you are experiencing computer science or have a computer science degree or going to school for computer science, go check it out at cstarleague.com and go enter for a chance to win a Twitch internship. That is a pretty good opportunity, so check it out. My name is Joshua Fekes Quest here with Octavian. We'll be back on the Rift in just a moment. All right, we are back in for game number 2, and this time another invade coming out from Carnegie Mellon. They tried this out last time, but they have a Blitzcrank this time around, so I would expect nothing less.
Yeah, and this time it's going to be an early invade rather than a later one. Tall White Bro drops down his Trinket Ward to spot this out. If they can catch up to him, they could maybe get a pick, but it looks like he is scattering to the winds, as well he should.
Yeah, if you use your wards like you're supposed to anyways, with the way that you leave the base with the kind of the pseudo home guards now, you're going to get in position a lot faster to prevent those sorts of invades. So very nice play by Tall White Bro. Sometimes in solo queue, again, I harp back to solo queue because I'm salty right now, but you'll see people not throw down wards when you have a free one right there. Just do it. Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Just throw down a ward. It's free. I mean, Riot gave you a ward to throw. I'm done with that. All right, so the not gonna have a lane swap this time around. It doesn't appear. And this is really nice by Carnegie Mellon. They threw down some a ward to get information. They see Jana Mechanics and Tall White Bro in the bot side, so they know that there is not going to be a lane swap this time around.
It's going to be interesting whether Mega Zero decides to go for an invade or not. It looks like he just wants to shove up the top side. He was motioning towards there. Since they had that information on where the enemy bot lane was, it would have been 2v1 at most. And as we've seen some supports demonstrate, you can pull off the 2v1 early on if you just want to be bothersome and not actually go for a kill. You just want to come in there and try and take away the jungle camp or something like that. But shoving for the earlier level 2 is higher priority for him, as we are not in the lane swap, and we actually get to see these top laners duke it out, unlike last game. Looks like this game is shaping up to be a lot slower early.
I was about to ask, do you really want to watch that?
Yes, because Mega Zero is such a known name, at least.
He is.
For the CSL. It's a player that's seen play on pro stages, and of course in amateur leagues like our own.
Yeah, I mean, but oh, hold on. Quicks actually needs to be careful, getting taken down quite a bit.
Beautiful
Rocket grab onto the Tall White Bro. He's locked down by Coggles as well, but there's Jana Mechanics. He's on Soraka, and that is the problem you run into when you face Soraka.
Yeah, but it at least is going to cost Soraka's health, while Tall White Bro will certainly be topped all the way back off. Soraka does have to pay some of her own health to be able to do that, so damage goes somewhere, even if it's not where you wanted it.
Ooh,
Device.
Device trying to invade, but actually getting caught out during that invade. Tegra, please, going to repel over. Device goes down. First blood going over to Quicks. Very ill-timed invade by Device.
And a nicely placed cocoon. That's going to be Carnegie Mellon getting the early first move here. As John Mechanics continues to press W on Tall White Bro.
Oh yeah, that's
exciting bottom line.
Essentially her job right now. That was just keeping Tall White Bro alive. Hold on, he's actually going to go in. Exhaust gets thrown down onto Tall White Bro. Mino Waxor, that is a summoner spell down, as well as the heal from Coggle. So mission accomplished by just rocket jumping in. Very nice play by Tall White Bro.
And with the Soraka behind you, provided the lane is played correctly, you can just make those brute force plays because you can take trades that you shouldn't be able to. You can lose a trade and still come out on top, especially if the enemy doesn't have any sustain at all, like in a Blitzcrank lane, because even if you lose 100 more hit points in the trade, you can get that right back again, whereas Coggles doesn't have that luxury.
Yeah, the most they have to rely on is that Relic Shield, but it's only up so often. So, yeah, definitely a detriment compared to having a Soraka on the other side of the field, where, yeah, the 100 hit points, that's going to be bigger for Coggles, for sure. That's something they need to work around. That's why they banned away Soraka in the first game. It was up this time around, Janna Mechanics having the Janna banned away from him. Hold on. Rocket grab onto Janna Mechanics.
That's who they wanted to hit.
That is, but a nice exhaust gets thrown down on a Coggles. The one thing about this, Janna Mechanics, it gets rooted down again, cannot heal herself back up unless she lands that Q. So it's very situational, but she does have some biscuits in her back pocket.
Yeah, and that's where we want to see the hooks aimed. You have to land them on the Soraka. It's a very different paradigm than most bottom lanes normally are, where the support tries to land the CC on the AD carry. I don't know if the dive hit is a little bit ambitious. Unless you land a hook and pull her out of tower range.
Almost, not quite. Device is in the backside as well, so has some backup for Tall White Bro. Very nice not to tower dive that one. Duosec, there's nothing to back it up there. It's just Tigro, please, going to just absorb some of the XP in the mid lane.
I really like seeing Tegro Please on a more aggressive jungler. On the Rek'Sai last game, he didn't really have too much of an impact, but here on Elise, it seems like he's very good with these cocoons. I haven't seen him miss one yet. He landed that one around the corner, beautifully placed, onto Device, that got the first blood, and while the second one that I saw right there wasn't quite as impactful, it was still very impressive, weaving it through the minion wave like that.
Yeah, no, if you can hit them no matter what, then you're on good terms, or on a good standing for your team, because you want to hit them. You want to get practice hitting them. You don't ever want to aim to miss, even if they are irrelevant. You still want to hit those, just because you can. Hold on. Mega Zero.
Ult force from Mega Zero.
Yeah, so there's an ult force, but that does prevent the gank, knocking Device back toward his own base and through the jungle, actually around the Gromp. So mission accomplished. That's better than blowing a flash.
Interesting thing here in the mid lane, if you take a look at these item builds, it's sort of a race to magic resistance here from both mid laners, which tells me that neither one really has plans to roam, oddly enough. Even though both Duosec and Quicks are on powerful roaming champions with high mobility and damage, just building that much magic resist and not building into any damage to help fight in a roam tells me that they may... Whoa, Tall White Bro! Outplays the hook there with a nice rocket jump, but it tells me that they just have plans to fight one another.
Yeah, and of course the Abyssal Scepter, they're prevalent on the LeBlanc and in Azir.
Yeah, no, they're
oh no, yeah, I know.
Item choices. It just means that they won't have the damage to burst down Han Solo or Coggles or any of these other laners.
No, definitely so. And yeah, you're right. They may be focusing more onto that mid lane encounter, maybe even keeping each other from roaming by trying to kill each other. So we'll see what happens into that. 2 Doran's rings, though, for Duosec, so he has a little bit more of the power, but there is more defense on the side of Quicks. Interesting to see which one will work in the end, but it's more than likely going to be coming down to just pure mechanics. Meanwhile, while I say that, Carnegie Mellon, they are keeping true to their objective roots, and they did take the first Rift Herald of the game, so I didn't quite see who that went over to, so we'll pick that up in just a moment here whenever the camera switches over. But it could go over to Tegro, please. It seems to make sense to me, considering how fast it increases the jungle clear. And it looks like it actually did. And a cocoon, another one landing. Is it teleport?
It's a particularly good choice here for Duosec, though,
Oh.
as Tegro and Quix both have magic damage. Han Solo doing quite a bit of work there. Not quite enough, though, to get the kill. Forces out a summoner.
Yeah. Duosec, he was not in position for that. And I don't think he expected Han Solo to keep going in with that, or to land that dredge line. So, a little bit hesitant on pulling the trigger there. Did get a flash. Did get a flash.
Teleport for the flash.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, I did get a teleport for the flash. So, still all right, but it's not huge for. It's not what they were looking for sure. It is May though. First dragon of the game does go over to a McMaster. So they're trying to even up the objective control here.
It looks like Duosec is pulling ever so slightly ahead in this middle lane matchup, and I have my eye very closely on mid lane here because in the last pick and bans and in this pick and ban, there was a lot of emphasis placed on this Azir. Oh, the nice silence to try and prevent the rocket jump, but the silence does only last, I think, a half second, maybe 0.75 seconds off Blitzcrank's ult. It's very, very quick, so you have to time that really, really well to be able to actually prevent abilities to escape the hook.
Yeah, it's typically coupled with the knock-up, which, you know, in its own right is a silence. You're not going to be doing too much when you're knocked up and CC'd like that. So, usually coupled with that, which is something he did not land that time around. So, not going to prevent Tall White Bro from escaping. And he still has flash, he still has heal. He's actually lower on the CS count right now. Which, I think he's afraid to get too close, especially with Jana Mechanics as his only backup there. Can heal him up, but Jana Mechanics doesn't offer too much in the way of power to really counter whenever you're getting pulled in like that. So, Tall White Bro, he's fallen behind only a little bit in CS. It's not a huge amount, but it is a little bit of a victory for Coggles right now.
And Tegro, please, is going to put some emphasis on clearing out that Mark of the Kindred. As soon as it spawns on his side of the jungle, he kills it off very quickly. That is the Gromp going down. And it looks like he's roaming in for a lane gank bottom side right afterwards as well, showing up just in time for Coggles to arrive. This could be really risky. Nice Blitzcrank hook or a Cocoon. Either one will be followed up by the other, most likely.
And Coggles is level 7s, which means he has Curtain Call. Tall White Bro, no, the Cocoon missed, and now it relies onto a rocket grab. There it is, but Curtain Call going to come out, more than likely pick up the kill, maybe not. Hold on, Jana Mechanics is going to save him. Tall White Bro, he's waiting on that one more shot, but he is going to actually put the Curtain Call away. That was so close for Carnegie Mellon.
It's a matter of the skill shots missing. The hook didn't connect, and the
Oh my God.
Cocoon hit a minion. And not to mention, the Cocoon hit a minion. Tegro, please, also used, I forget the name of the ability.
Hold
but
on,
the
they're still
Cocoon
going for it.
platform
Oh, there it lands.
Well, Tall White Bro gets pushed backwards.
He uses the flash to get out, though. Yeah, the Cocoon and the rocket grab, forcing the flash and the heal out of Tall White Bro, finally using those two summoner spells, and Jana Mechanics mashing that heal button. Astral Blessing going to help him out there.
Nice sidestep from Duosec prevents the proc on the ulted version of the Sigil of Malice. It's a lot of damage avoided. And Duosec has been doing a good job holding his own, more than holding his own, has a 10 CS lead here in mid lane. I'm excited to see what this Azir can move on to accomplishing after we get out of laning phase here, though. Laning phase having been a lot more actual laning this particular game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a slower paced game, which I think is actually benefiting McMaster right now, because Carnegie Mellon, they were way ahead at this point in the game last time. Oh, nice dodge of the Ethereal Chain, but that means that he is open for much more into that mid lane. Duosec, who's going to pick up the kill? He flashes, or not flashes, heals rather. Mino Haxor actually in the mid lane, picking that up with his big fist to the back of the head. Going to be able to pick up that kill. So support gets the kill, but very nice play from Duosec all around.
Yeah, in a vacuum of that single skill shot, that would have been a great dodge.
Right.
But because he had to dash forwards to do it, he just put himself in a even more deadly position by doing so. And he had to choose between getting cocooned, or no, pardon me, not cocooned. It was ethereal chains that he dodged out.
Yeah.
Getting chained or getting cocooned or just dying, and he chose the final option.
A lot of emphasis.
I don't know if he chose. He was forced into it.
Right. Hold on, a lot of emphasis onto this bot lane. Rocket grab on Tall White Bro after Mega Zero shoved him into the turret, but Tall White Bro gets out! Hold on, he actually buster shots Mega Zero back. That is going to be a kill overall, taken over from two Jana Mechanics, I should say. But Tegro, please, and Mino Haxor falls. Tall White Bro survived that.
Just barely, yeah. That's really quite bad, actually, for Carnegie Mellon, who invested a lot of resources into killing that Tristana, and then that investment turns up pretty poorly. I don't know if Device wants that fight onto Mega Zero.
I don't think he does. Curtain call coming out onto Tall White Bro, but he's going to jump out of range. And now he actually does want to fight onto Mega Zero because Han Solo is there. Coggles, he's underneath his turret. There's not much to work with from McMaster right now to try to take him down. So they just need to back off, reset, and regroup. That was some very hairy situations all in a row there.
Good lord, look at the emphasis on magic resistance that Quix has put into his build. It's a Negatron Cloak and a Null Magic Mantle now.
Looks like he's going
the
for
only
Fiends.
damage he has is a Fiendish Codex, and I guess the magic penetration from Sorcerer's Shoes. But he's really putting a lot of emphasis on defense and utility early on, which is strange to see from a LeBlanc, honestly.
So it looks like he is... Oh, hold on. Double Ethereal Chain, going to double lockdown Duosec, but with that happening, you don't really get any burst out. You just lock them down for a little bit longer. Not much else to follow up from Quix. He doesn't have Ignite to do anything either. So yeah, Abyssal Scepter Rush and Unfiends coming out from Quix. At least the components so far, not quite the core builds. But finally, first turret of the game does go down at about a minute, 14 minutes, I should say. That is going to be the bot lane.
And Tristana has finished a Guinsoo's.
Yeah, okay, so he's going for that.
Update on that.
He's going for
Yes,
that.
He's going for the new kid on the block Tristana build.
That build, yes, he's going for that build. Thank you, Stixay.
I don't know if it's purely Stixay's fault.
Stixay was the first one to do it in the United States, I believe. I think. Don't quote me on that, but he is definitely the first one to do it in the NALCS.
This fight may go on another 10 minutes before the victor
Or-
is decided. Devise is here to speed it up.
Yeah,
though.
Devise definitely going to speed it up. Mega Zero falling low very quickly. Devise picking up that kill. That was a flash from Han Solo, I think, to try to secure that one. A little overzealous, but a kill picked up nonetheless.
This game is looking far more even than the last one, with 3 and 3 now. Stacked up kills on both sides. And a dragon from both teams as well. Only really a turret advantage going over to Carnegie Mellon here. But compared to the last early game they came through, that's pretty trifling.
Yeah, and again, I thought it was going to be advantageous to McMaster because they had poor rotations in the last game, but so far, Carnegie Mellon, they're doing just fine right now. They're securing the objectives that they can and not letting McMaster actually get the advantage on them besides one gank in the top lane coming out from Devise. So it's not looking too advantageous for anybody right now. It's just both teams trying to farm up into this mid game because it's an actual traditional laning phase, like you said. Which, yeah, it just seems like so slow, but I guess it is. Oh my god, alright. Well, Coggles,
tried to.
yeah, very valiant. I think he did get the little minion on the back line.
He's showing that he means business.
Yeah.
He will take their little minions.
So, a lot of emphasis put in the mid lane right now. Rift Herald being taken by Tegra Please and Mega Zero. And again, Carnegie Mellon, they showed in the first game that they can secure objectives whenever they're on their own method of doing so. They're not being forced team fights. There's not too much to really disengage besides, or re-engage, I should say, besides Devise on Lamb's Respite. Tegra Please going to land a Cocoon in the top lane, but Devise, he is here. Repel, actually that's not even a repel. That is a huge amount of damage. The red buff going to be able to take out Tegra Please. Very nice catch by Devise. He actually solo kills that one.
And I don't think anybody expected that huge burst of damage at the end of the fight there. Devise, repping that early game Kindred damage, is doing quite a bit of work now. Having completed the Hex Drinker and working on finishing off that Sated Devourer. He's able to burst down and pick up another kill for himself. 3 and 1 now out of the jungle. Devise, I don't know, maybe a Kindred band might have been in order. This is the second game in a row that he's gotten that champ, and he seems to be very comfortable on it.
Kindred is so versatile. I mean, you can do, as far as like, again, like what kind of like Fizz was last game as far as her roles. You can re-engage with Devise. You're gonna be a huge amount of damage going into the late game, and that's another thing about Kindred. You never stop scaling. It seems like you just keep going as long as you get objectives. So I think a Kindred Band definitely would have been worth it. Hold on, Janet Mechanics caught out with the rocket grab, but it's only Mino Haxor there. He's doing it just to be cheeky. And now Duosec with the cocoon on the transit from the Sand Soldier. Very nice aiming from Tegro, please. He's pretty dynamite with these cocoons.
Yeah, he's been landing them really well, but not in situations where it matters. That's gotta feel bad. Right there, Duosec was already safe underneath his turret by the time the stun resolved, so it wasn't going to turn into anything more than some harass. And now Tegro, please, might be overextending here. It looks like he realizes that it's going to be an error to stay any longer and backs out.
So since Device has not been getting as many kills in this game, or I guess, you know, participating in as many kills, only 3-1, which, you know, seems like a high number, but compared to last game at this time, you know, I think he was about, you know, 4-0, maybe 6 or something or other like that. He was an incredible amount of KDA at 20 minutes last game. He's actually a little bit late on stacking up his Sated Devourer. It's only at 22 stacks right now. Not hugely, I guess, accelerated as he was last game. Hold on, Duosec, he gets hooked, but a nice Emperor's Divide. Now Devise, he's in the mix. He's going to chase, flash in with the exhaust thrown down onto him, but he fights through it, picks up a kill onto Mino Haxor. Very nice turnaround by McMaster. And huge Emperor's Divide by Duosec.
They're just picking the wrong fights. They're landing good skill shots. They're mechanically doing well, but they're doing well at the wrong times, and that's going to be an outer turret falling in mid lane. Turret lead now going over to the side of McMaster, who are starting to pull ahead in this one.
Yeah, slowly but surely, Dragon will be up in a minute, 30 seconds, and if McMaster can secure that one, that will be Devise, more than likely finishing off his Sated Devourer. Tall White Bro going to be picking up the bot lane turret, needs to get out of there, rocket jump available, he takes it out, and now Devise actually trying to get in the face with Duosec in suit as well.
Heracles once again caught out, this time in his own jungle.
Yeah, and he gets taken down. Janet Mechanics actually picking up that kill with the Star Call.
Yeah, bloodthirsty Soraka support.
Yeah,
but
he has a lot of AP.
In the end, a kill is a kill, and it's more about the fact that they can now pressure into the secondary turret with, of course, a double 80 carry comp, Devise on Kindred.
Oh, quick in the
the
back line, just deletes Janet Mechanic. Not seeing.
That's a good removal from the fight. There's a lot of health gone.
That is, and well, Wish was already used, but the exhaust could have been used as well. Solo, he's going to be locked down with the Ethel Chain, but now going to go back in onto Quick. Lambert of Spite is still up, by the way. Devise needs just one more auto attack, does not get it onto Quick, and now they might actually just re-initiate the siege onto this turret.
And it seems like Carnegie Mellon is just devoted to landing these skill shots, even when the situation doesn't really call for it. Like right there, we saw the Quicks go close enough, to Han Solo to land the ethereal chains, but that was also close enough to get anchored in the face. And he was low enough on health that had the ethereal chains connected, it didn't really matter. You know, and I find myself saying that about a lot of these skill shots, about the Blitzcrank hooks or the cocoons, and in the best case scenarios, it just fizzles out and nothing but a bit of poke comes out of it. But in the worst case scenarios, they end up taking fights that they can't win.
Yeah, McMaster, they have shown that they have the team fight prowess to, kind of turn around any team fight they want to, initiate any team fight they want to, because at the early going of of game number 1, they were re-initiating team fights. They were not starting them, and then eventually they got so powerful that they could. So now, Sated Devourer as completely sated for Devise. He's going to be extremely powerful, more so than he already was. Maw of Malmortius as well. He's going to be able to tank up some damage in these team fights. Maxter's caught out. Mana Barrier going to help him out, but only for a little bit. Duosec picking up that kill, and now he is going to start chasing Tegro Please, who gets a flash to safety here. And flash. Speaking of flash, Han Solo flashing in with the dredge line. No one there to follow him up though, so kind of just use the flash for nothing, but the mid lane turret is exposed. Mega Zero split pushing this entire time with teleport, choosing not to cease his split push.
Yeah, I think that's the right choice there. That fight wouldn't have been won by having an extra Poppy around. Jhin ulti burn just to try and dissuade them from pushing the turret, I suppose, but it's not going to accomplish even that. Coggles does have the wave clear to keep him from pushing any further, but that wasn't really in their plans anyways. And they're just going to back off and steal a few jungle camps. Mega Zero does take away blue buff for what that's worth.
Or you might not make it out alive. Of course, it looks like the entirety of
collapsed around.
Yeah, Carnegie Mellon. They are on the chase as well, though. So Mega Zero, he's going to make it out with that blue buff. Or is he? Did it just reset? Never mind, it just reset. Now Devise is there. That's so unfortunate for Mega Zero. And now he's going to be dredgelined back in. No.
Tegro, please.
Yeah, Tegro, please is essentially right. I think he just smited that too. I'm not sure, but Tegro, please does fall. And now Carnegie Mellon, they're mispositioning themselves so hard right now. And McMaster, they're capitalizing at every opportunity.
Okay, so directed camera didn't show it there, but Duosec actually, I think it was Quicks that he held up, or maybe it was Mega Zero. It was one of the two solo laners there. He was fighting them in the Wolf Pit, and he dropped Emperor's Divide up against the back wall of the Wolf Pit, that curved wall in the back, and he held them up literally right against the wall, and they had to flash away to get away from that. Oh, that feels bad.
Yeah, that's there's some interesting mechanics that can still come out with that Emperor's Divide. That's one of them. I don't see it too often because that's a really hard pin to do. Actually, it's hard to pin anybody against the wall, but some people, they've been playing Azir for a while. They're able to do it and know where they can do that at. So props to Duosec. He's not as huge as I thought he would be on this Azir. He is farming quite a bit. Actually, not even the most gold on his team. Only actually third most gold on his team, followed by, well, being led by, I should say, Tall White Bro and Device. So he's not running off like I thought he would be, and the turrets aren't being pressured near as much as I thought they would be either. But McMaster, they're playing it slow. They're getting their picks just like this onto Mega Zero. Device, he's getting pulled in, but Lamb's Respite is going to save him. That was a very clutch Lamb's Respite as well. And now Mega Zero,
they knock Soraka out of the fight.
Yeah, knocking Soraka out, but he still has Wish, can still use it from anywhere on the map. Helps out his teammates. Mega Zero chasing down, or getting chased down, I should say, by Tall White Bro. And that is 2 kills for 0 for McMaster University, and they are looking to close this game out as soon as possible.
The consistent damage output with 280 carries and an Azir, alongside the consistent health regain, I suppose, with John Mechanics on Soraka, is just, it's too much for Carnegie Mellon to work with. I mean, they burn some important cooldowns, they shove Soraka out of the fight, but it doesn't really matter because there's just so much damage coming all the time. There's no weak spot, there's no opening to take advantage of here.
Carnegie Mellon, they're trying to chase back, but actually gets held up by the root. And we were going to look at Janet Mechanics builds. I was hoping to see something interesting. Not too much to tell right now. That's atypical. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, Mega Zero with the teleport coming in. There's a rocket grab on the Tall White Bro. He gets knocked down, or locked down, I should say, and taken down. Coggles picking up that kill. Nice catch by Carnegie Mellon. Let's see if they can capitalize now, Octavian.
Yeah, and I mean, I said earlier there was no weak spot, but I suppose that is the weak spot. They've got Cocoon and they've got Rocket Grab. If they can pick somebody out and burst them down, then that's where they're going to excel. They're going to be able to get these picks. They tried it on Devise, but he had the Lamb's Respite to save himself. Tall White Bro, no such luck. His ulti not quite as good for that sort of thing.
So Carnegie Mellon, they were able to take out 2 turrets in that mid lane, inner and outer. So nice capitalization. That shows that if they get what they need, the slight pick that they need, and catch McMaster off guard, they can capitalize. Taking out 2 turrets, opening up the map a little bit for themselves, and netting some gold. It's still a 6k gold spread right now in favor of McMaster, but it's still not completely out of control. I mean, Carnegie Mellon, if they can keep getting picks like that, they can bring this one back eventually.
Because that's the kind of playstyle they need to do to win this game, because they need to get picks at this point to win this match. I'm even more skeptical of the double MR item, lower damage build that Quicks brought to the table here. I think a Luden's Echo, a Zhonya's, even a Death Cap might have been a better choice as one of these 2 starting items, because he needs to have the burst to be able to bring down Jana Mechanics or Tall White Bro or Devise. Any of these 4 squishies, honestly, they have just one tank line in the front, in the form of Han Solo's Nautilus. So I think having more damage on LeBlanc would have mattered more than the LeBlanc having 0 deaths.
No, that's
being alive more often.
That's definitely true. They're going to rely on Coggles to actually get somebody low enough and do the execution. And they do have once they catch somebody, that is a thing. They have quite a bit to keep them caught for a while. So maybe they don't absolutely need the massive burst from Quicks. But yeah, definitely if you're gonna go to someone that a comp that is going to pick, it is good to delete that pick once you get it, and having a full damage LeBlanc would be able to do that. But delaying that a little bit, has a needlessly large rod and an amplifying tome, so going for the death cap eventually, at least I would assume so. That could also go into his Zhonya's, but I don't think at 201 he really needs the Zhonya's right now.
And that's going to be the dragon started off by McMaster, who see Carnegie Mellon backing out of mid lane and take the opportunity to bring down a quick objective for themselves. And that's going to be stack number 3. Only 30 minutes into the game, that's a dang quick stacking dragon. 5 dragons, if this game goes on another 10 minutes or so, could actually be a threat.
Yeah, there's these team fights. I mean, that is one of the things we talked about last game. We saw McMaster win these team fights, and going in toward the mid game, we were comparing that to how they lost so many objectives in the early game. But it doesn't matter if you win team fights. You can just go get the objectives. Once the game goes on long enough, death timers are going to be long, and that means that McMaster, they will be able to capitalize on that. Hold on, Duosec, and that's the thing you were talking about. No burst, not enough burst, I should say, coming out to kill Duosec, even with an additional blasting wand. So definitely needs that Rabadon death cap. And if you're going to try to burst down Duosec, might actually need a Void Staff too.
Yeah, if instead of that Athenes he had picked up maybe a Luden's Echo, I think that might have been the best choice here, honestly. The movement speed would be quite nice as well. That would have been in Dead Azir, or at least in Azir that would have had to be saved with heal or flash, a summoner spell, maybe a Soraka ult, something, instead of no real resources being burned and Quicks not getting the pick.
So vision control is very important for both teams around this Baron. I believe that will be the deciding factor of this game as we approach the 30-minute mark. Hey, hold on, there's a catch on to Han Solo, but this is not the Nautilus of last game, where, or I guess the team of last game, where you can just catch out a Nautilus. But Mega Zero, who's he going to knock up? He actually knocks back Nautilus, so gets caught in here. Device throws down the Lambs for Spite. He gets pulled out, and no, he tumbles back in. Device staying alive. That is 2 down for Carnegie Mellon. Coggles, he may be a third here. He is. Buster Shot, and that's a reset for Tall White Bro. Going to go over to Tegro, please. But in the back lines, there's a double kill for Quicks, but it doesn't matter. That is a triple kill for Tall White Bro, and now Device. He's on the chase. He gets the ace. That is a 2 for 5 all around in favor of McMaster.
And they focused so hard in onto Device there, who not only had a Soraka to back him up and keep him alive, but also, of course, being Kindred has Land's Rep Spite and a Maw of Malmortius. Pardon me, I was about to say Hexdrinker, but a Maw of Malmortius. So he's got all the resources he needs to survive being focused like that. And after burning so many important cooldowns, they don't manage to get the kill, because of course Kindred's going to ult, and then the turnaround team fight, as I've said earlier, Azir, Tristana, and Kindred can output way more consistent damage than we will see from a Jhin or a LeBlanc, who are much more about burst. So if they don't manage to make enough of an impact with that initial burst, they're going to lose the team fight coming after that.
Yeah, and that's as a result, that is a huge backing for McMaster. And now we see Tall White Bro. He went off pretty hard in that game, that team fight, getting reset after reset. Has the Gwynsus, he has the Runans, he also has the Hexdrinker now as well. So he's actually going to survive maybe even a burst coming out from Quicks. Possibly. There's still quite a bit of damage coming out from Quicks on a squishy target like Tall White Bro, but the shield for Hexdrinker will count for something, and if anything, he will be able to survive Tegra Please if he's caught by him.
He doesn't have to solo survive Quicks' burst, though, because he's got a Soraka and he's got a Kindred ulti. That's the thing. There's enough tools here that Quicks isn't going to be bursting someone down instantly unless they're caught far away from their team because of a rocket grab or something. So I think it's going to be about a rocket grab landing and then Quicks blowing up that target if we do see Carnegie Mellon win the fight. And I think the only real target choices they have are Tall White Bro or Janna Mechanics, as Duosec is going to be able to ulti them back after the hook lands and create some distance there. Of course, we'll see the Kindred ulti if Device gets hooked in, and Han Solo is too tanky to burst down. I think they have to kill this Soraka if they want to win these fights. That's kind of what it comes down to here.
Yeah, and we saw just now as the inhibitor went down. Tigger, please, landed a cocoon. Didn't matter. Nobody was around to follow it up. And even if it was, I think Carnegie Mellon are at a point where they cannot engage on a team fight successfully. With them being shoved back into their own base, they may not even be able to get a catch because, I mean, they're obviously, again, they're in their base. Nowhere really to catch McMaster University. This may be the last team fight we see if it engages fully underneath this turret.
There's just enough fail-safe options here for McMaster that they don't have to fear these team fights anymore. They just have to keep Jana Mechanics from being hooked, and I think that's the only opening that Carnegie Mellon has. If they hook Soraka and instantly kill her, they can then win a fight, but it's too late now. Inhibitors are falling.
So yeah, top lane inhibitor and mid lane inhibitor down for Carnegie Mellon. And they are going to be rotated on here. McMaster making his way into the bot lane. Hook for a hook there. Haxor, is he going to go down? Mana barrier popped. He's going to be saved. Lamb's Respite. Device, he's the only one in there. He actually has to hop out. So Lamb's Respite is down. That is a big ultimate down. And that might be a trigger for Carnegie Mellon to pull here.
Well,
maybe.
It's really, really difficult for them because they did trade the Lamb's Respite back, but they traded it for 2 inhibitors if you think about it in the long game. And even a kill, I believe. No, Mino Hexer didn't quite go down there. Device didn't quite pick up the kill, but still. All that they have to burn to be able to get 2 inhibitors is the Kindred ulti. And that's only because Kindred overextended. Kindred didn't have to op into that fight. Device could have stayed on his side of the wall and they could have kept up the pressure. So it's a misstep, sure, but it's not enough of a misstep that it's going to matter.
Nah, and Lamb's Respite's almost back up anyways. McMaster, they backed off at a great time. Gonna wait for that one to come back up. And actually Dragon, that would be the 4th Dragon for them if they decide to go for this one. May just have it as a backup failsafe in case they cannot finish out the game in the next 10 minutes. They'll take the Dragon and then have that 5th Dragon to just cinch it in and finish off the game and go to DreamHack.
And now we do see the Locket completed from Han Solo. We see a Sterex Gauge from Device. All of these itemization choices are just around preventing their players from being bursted. Device even has a Guardian Angel. There's no way they kill this
that's
Kindred
insane.
unless they get 2-3 rounds of cooldowns off the LeBlanc, which should never ever happen.
No, not at all. And Lamb's Respite, yeah, Guardian Angels. And not to mention Soraka. Device, he's not gonna die unless he wants to, and just tower die or fountain dives, I should say.
Yeah, it would have to be a huge mistake from the side of McMaster to give up the game at this point. They've got every advantage they could want. Basically, every single member of their team has 3 life insurance policies taken out. There's no way they go down without Carnegie Mellon paying for it in some really, really huge way. And they've got the minion wave they need. Maybe they can shove up and take the turret now.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Doesn't matter. They've got 2 inhibitor waves. 2 inhibitor-less waves shoving for them.
Yeah, and that's a big one on the top side, considering that ZZ Rot Portal has been building it up and building it up, so a massive wave on the top side. This is going to be it. McMaster, they are going for the last shove here. Quicks almost going down, stays alive though. It doesn't matter. Device gets knocked back. That's actually a pretty good knockback, but it's not going to matter overall. Jana Mechanics is taken down pretty low. Curtain call time coming out, but I don't think it's going to kill anybody. First Nexus does go down. Second Nexus, it's down. Nexus is exposed. Carnegie Mellon, they are out. They are knocked out of the playoffs. We are going to see McMaster in Austin, Texas at DreamHack taking on Robert Morris University.
That was a very well played game. Compositionally, the team composition was very much in favor of McMaster, I think, towards the end game there. But yeah, well played, even with the scales tilted in their favor. McMaster taking home a 2-0.
Yeah, extremely clean game by McMaster. Even the second one going a little bit slow. The first one, they looked like they were going to get out-rotated way too much, but no trigger pulled by Carnegie Mellon that they could actually capitalize on. McMaster able to turn around every team fight that was thrown at them early on. So very, very well played by McMaster. Again, we'll see them at DreamHack in Austin, Texas, first weekend of May, taking on Robert Morris University. Congratulations to them. That is it for the quarterfinals. The only matches left in the CSL season are gonna happen in Texas live in front of us, in front of the audience. So very excited about it. Octavian, thank you so much for filling in with me this weekend. Been awesome, man.
Yeah, it's been really enjoyable. Thank you for having me along, Fekes. I hope to see you at DreamHack.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be there too. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah, definitely gonna see you, gonna see the players, gonna see the staff, going to see the audience. I am so excited. I am pumped. Everyone's pumped. Want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Twitch.tv, Asus ROG, and Brain Gear, and of course Asus ROG. They're the reason why we are going to DreamHack, and now we get to see why. And it's for it's the semifinals. Robert Morris University versus McMaster, and Maryville versus who won yesterday, Octavian? I'm like so excited to bet this game. Who won yesterday between that one? It was gonna be Maryville versus, do you remember who? Waterloo, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, Waterloo.
Waterloo that
there we go.
Came out with the second victory in the second best of 3 yesterday. Maryville as well will be going.
Yes.
And now we're going to be having McMaster take place as well.
So very excited for that one. We'll see you guys in Austin at DreamHack. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Joshua Fekasquest. Once again, I am here with Octavian. Everyone, have a good night. See you in Austin, Texas.